it's pink? Hello everyone, it is Justice, and today we're just going to be talking a little bit. I really think in my head that I participate in the stationery community a lot more than I actually do. It's just that I am a long-term lurker. So I figured that today we could actually start talking about things, because in my head I already do that. I just don't put it out there, you know? Anyways, I kind of just wanted to talk about 2022 total and kind of just give my thoughts on things. I want to talk about trends, people that I have been following a little bit more and engaging a little bit more with, and things that I want from 2023. This may clink, and if so, I'm sorry, but I wanted to get comfy because I want to talk to my friends, you guys, about this and pretend that I'm just FaceTiming with you. And I like to have something cozy with that. I don't know. Anyways, I have been noticing within myself, at least, I don't know about the entire community, I have been seeing a lot more I think it's called chroma shading inks, the multitonal inks, where they're very pale, but they have multiple colors, and just a lot of other things. And I didn't acknowledge this, but this is Mr. Diesel Dog. Whenever I'm upstairs in my office, he likes to sit on the couch, and so I put down a little bed for him. He's here with us. But I just am not a huge fan of the very pale colored inks. I love seeing them and other people using them because they're beautiful. I wish that could be something that I could be comfortable with, but my eyes suck. And I feel like that's the age coming on to me. I used to, this is completely off topic, but I used to look at grown adults and be like, wow, they're really stupid. Why is your body shutting down? Why are you acting geriatric whenever you're actually not? It's because you are. My eyes don't really work that good anymore, and just seeing all those light colored inks on the paper, it gives me a headache. And little Justice would have never had that problem. She would have been like, oh wow, just get over it, it's gorgeous, everything for the aesthetic. But I want my eyes to relax. The stationery hobby for me is very much just nice, calming, a way to ground yourself, a way to get connected again. But if I'm getting a headache while doing it, or if I'm just worried that I can't see it in a dull lighting, because a lot of my journaling is in the evenings in low light, it's just difficult. If you journal a lot, in the morning when the sun is already up, I could totally see how that's probably more attainable for you. For me, a little bit not so much. A lot of my journaling is either in the morning before work, where my brain's a little bit incoherent and I'm trying to jot down my dreams, or it's after work, after I've already eaten dinner, we're watching TV, we have the big light turned off, and we just have a couple side lights. That's where a majority of my journaling is going to be. Not for everyone, I know, I get it. But I've been noticing a lot of that. And within myself too, I am getting out of bullet journaling, the overall bullet journaling community. Whenever I started, given I've been into stationery and things like that my entire life, but whenever I first started, I was super into the Bujo community, Boho Berry. I was with her all day. I hope that Kira's doing well. I did her subscription box. I followed her on Facebook. I live, laugh, loved Boho Berry. And now that there's a lot more bullet journal creators out there, I don't find that I can not associate with them, that's not the correct word. I do not see myself in their life position anymore, which I think is a fairly large group of people on YouTube these days. Back whenever I was bullet journaling, I was in high school, I was in college, and that's where I see a lot of these people are at right now. They are in school, they are students, and that's not to say that you're less busy, because whenever I was in college, I was absolutely super busy, but I value my time a little bit more now. Whereas in the past, I would preach And to an extent, I continue to preach that unless it's pretty, I'm not going to look at it. And so that was my main motivation towards bullet journaling and the like. But now I just cannot be bothered. I have so much crap to do in a day, I just cannot. And that's something I've been talking with a lot of friends about too, because I feel like there is very scarce time to do things that you want to do and things that are recharging to you, because you work, at least in the USA, you work probably 40 to 60 hours a week, depending on the job that you have. Beyond that, it's taking care of where you live. And I'm fortunate enough to be a homeowner, but at the same time, that means I have to take care of the house, take care of the outside, make sure the landscape is looking normal. We recently had a freeze in Florida for the first time, not ever, but in a very, very long time. And so I had to winterize outside, had no idea how to do that. So I had to start from scratch, winterize the inside, make sure that things worked. I have pets, making sure the pets are healthy, alive, getting what they need, taking appointments. Appointments take up so much time. Just any type of appointment, because you have to go to the dentist, you have to go to the eye doctor if you're like me, you have to go to the gyno if you are a person with a you-know-what, vehicles, maintaining vehicles. I have to go to an allergist because I'm allergic to where I live. That takes up so much time, particularly whenever you're looking at your monthly layout in your calendar and you're like, oh, great, I want to plan a day to go visit my friends. And you're looking at it and you're like, okay, oil change appointment. Okay, doctor appointment. Okay, this weekend I have to leave open for yard work because it's getting too much. And then it's months later that you're actually able to see your friend and you're just like, oh, okay. This is not how I pictured my adult life going. And this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm going to keep going anyways. But whenever I was younger, I definitely pictured adult life to have substantially more freedom than it does. And I was like, ooh, during the winter break, even if I don't get a break at work, I'm still going to take time off and I'm going to travel. I'll be to New York City like once a year. Girl, I've never been. It is so much just trying to keep up with the people that you care about. And even then, it takes up all your time. I have multiple friends that I can see maybe once a year because we don't live near each other anymore, because, you know, after you grow up, you kind of go your separate ways. And I prioritize seeing them whenever that time comes. So it's going to be like a hellish Christmas week whenever everyone comes down to visit their families and I never moved away, you know? It's a lot. And a lot of growing up, I think, too, is acknowledging the reality versus what your perception of the reality was, you know? Anyways, stationery is absolutely just a little bit of escapism. I have really been enjoying some newer YouTubers now that I've kind of gotten out of the bullet journal community of the stationery world. And that's not to say I'm completely out. Like, I do still follow a lot of people, particularly a lot of people that moved bullet journal bullet journal practices into other efficient systems like the Hobonichi, Traveler's Factory, anything like that. I just do not have time to make every single spread anymore. That just doesn't work. So I keep a lot of things. I keep like a regular journal that's undated, that kind of goes slightly chronologically, and I do whatever I want whenever I want. But in terms of like actually planning to make sure my life stays together, I just have to do bare bones, minimal planning, just like pen, paper, and then maybe on a weekend where I don't have anything planned and I just need to relax, I will go in, I'll put some watercolors, some washi, stuff like that down. But on a day-to-day basis, my planner is very plain, and then I backtrack to make it pretty, because that's just what I need to do to stay sane. Some of the creators that I've really been enjoying, this is a new one that I've gotten very attached to, but there's a channel called The Unexpected Gypsy, and the video that got me into her, that was recommended to me, was like being someone with no friends in your 50s or something like that. It was really endearing. I like how she just talks to the camera and she'll talk about her journaling. And that was really inspiring. I also really love Petite Gloom. I don't know if that's her YouTube channel or if it's just her Instagram. Petite Gloom, Megan Rhiannon, same brand. Everything that she does is very neutral, spooky, calm, organized. Like whenever I think of her, I think of squares, I think of grid patterns, I think of unfinished wood, like the IKEA furniture type of unfinished wood color, you know what I mean? I think pixels, little dancing skeletons, long nails, and just being soft-spoken. I followed Megan Rhiannon very early on whenever I was in college because she had posted a video kind of talking about her autism, and she was already in the stationery adjacent world. She used to be like on the Study Blur Tumblr. And so that was immediately something that I clicked with because at the time I didn't know I was autistic. I just really liked her and I resonated with her, and engaging with her content is partially what made me go and get diagnosed myself. And so I'm always going to have that connection to her content. And I want to be careful in saying her content because I don't know her. She's not my friend. She doesn't know me. Chances are if she were to watch this video, she'd be like, okay, I would love if you were to stop talking about me right now. But that is to say, I have a connection with her content. So I've been loving her continually. Goulet pens, Anderson pens, you know, the general companies that produce content that I really enjoy. The Yoseka Stationery team, also in that group. Where is my notepad? 1 second. This is my 2022 Hobonichi Inuyasha. I wrote down some notes in here for myself. Now where they are, that is the question. JK, forgot I wrote them in my new insert. I started a new Travelers Company insert. This is going to be the one I take into the start of 2023 with me. I started writing some stuff down because I know that I want to talk whenever I get this up, but once I start talking to the camera and I don't like have someone to start talking back to me, I get nervous and I clam up and I just want to stop. Fig Boot on pens! I have really been enjoying Fig Boot. Fig Boot's one of those people where I'll watch them and I'll watch them whenever it's something that interests me. But recently I've started watching just about anything that he puts out because I'm one of those people to where if I follow someone, my goal is to watch everything that they put out because the people that I follow, I want to be engaged with, you know? And Fig Boot, he has a personality of a dry uncle. I wrote him a letter, he wrote me back. It was super precious, one of my highlights of the year. But he, to me, if you were to go to like a family reunion or a family Christmas party, he is the uncle that probably doesn't talk a whole lot, probably observes everyone. And then you'll talk to him and he'll say the most outlandish things, just like point blank. Like that's just it. I wrote down that he's like the quiet uncle that'll show up to a family gathering and is so casual that he won't mention having been to like the moon. He'll just be like, oh, you know, I've been to the moon, great place, I would love to go back. And you're just like, hello? You just experienced this amazing thing. Stop being so humble, I want to know. I feel like he's that type of person. I also love seeing more people talk about their consumption. That is something to where I have been very interested in that topic for a very long time, but particularly whenever Anna of Girl and Quill started talking about stationery minimalism. If you've heard that term around, accredit it to Girl and Quill. I've had a few conversations with her and it's always so lovely whenever I get to have those conversations, but I've been noticing a lot more along general, the YouTube space, people decluttering, particularly in the makeup community as well. But like, I don't notice a lot of intertwining of people between the makeup world and the stationery world. So I'm just going to separate those things. But a lot of people have been talking about overconsumption. And part of that, I believe, is related to the recession that the United States is currently in and trying to pare down your shopping habits. But also, a lot of us during the panini were caught in a cycle to where you weren't really going outside and doing anything. So the most new that came into your life was in purchases. And me, being someone who just loves dopamine, also got caught up in the purchasing. And so I've been loving seeing a lot of people trying to reel it back in. You go too far, you reel it back in. So that's been really interesting to me. One of the creators that I've been noticing doing this more is Cindy Gunter Baldo. I have been following her for a long time. I was in her Llama Loves Letters Facebook group for a long time. But she is going to be engaging in a No Buy 2023. She has multiple videos out on it with her certain classifications of what she will and will not allow herself to purchase in different categories of life: stationery, makeup, home, all of that stuff. I love that. That helps keep me accountable. So if you know anyone doing no buy, low buy, ethical consumption, that is something that I really want to get into. And I don't mean get into like I haven't already been into it, but I like surrounding my content with things that are important to me at that time. Like, I got out of veganism. I regret it. I wish I were to go back, but at this point, it's just not in my top priorities right now. Maybe someday. But at that point, a lot of my YouTube feed was food recipes, talking about animals, that type of stuff. And so I try to focus my content around things to keep my priorities forefront in my mind. You know, it's very easy for me to forget about things, whether it be goldfish brain or getting distracted. And there's an entire tangent that I could go on about media and conspiracy theories on distraction. Won't go there. But I want to keep myself focused. So if you have any recommendations, absolutely let me know. Two other content creators that I've been particularly enjoying this year, and I'll stop there because there's a lot of content that I consume. I'm one of those people that like to have something in the background constantly as noise, and I just need the stimulus, you know? I have been really getting into Pens and Tea and also Adventure Denali. They just have such nice, down-to-earth presenting personalities online. I really enjoy them. Pens and Tea is one that I surprised myself. I didn't realize that I wasn't subscribed to Carrie. All of these years, I just been watching videos from the recommended. So at one point in her Christmas videos every day type of process, I actually decided to look whenever she said, be sure to like and subscribe. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not subscribed. I am so sorry. So, love Pens and Tea. I particularly, again, back to the whole consumption thing, like one of their recent videos where they're discussing, like, I really want to pare down my collection of pens. It was their collection video for 2022, released in December of 2022. As of the time I'm filming this, like 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm filming this on the 28th or the 29th of December. I don't know what day it is, girl. She's paring down her collection to be quality over quantity, I believe is what she said. And that girl has a collection, let me tell you. There are so many gorgeous pens in there, and I can totally see wanting to curate your collection to be more of a gallery almost, like a gallery in use, obviously, because pens are meant to be used. But doing that instead of just having a vast collection of hundreds of pens that you may or may not even use in a year. I totally get that. And part of myself, if you watched videos, I think it was probably at least a year or two ago now that I posted, my goal was to have one pen case and rotate pens through that pen case until I like slowly worked my way up to a lovelier curation. That went out the window. I now have 3 pen cases, but at the same time, I like really truly think that my 3 pen cases are wonderful. I don't think that I have anything to yearn for at that point, unless it's like a Grail pen, or it's a pen that I have always wanted to try, but they released a colorway that I can't pass up. An example, I really want a Pilot Justice 95 because it is spelled exactly how my name is spelled. I have met 2 other people in the entire world with my name spelled like my name. No one has just us. It's always just ice. So the fact that there is a pen from my favorite brand with my name, I want it. But at the same time, I just cannot feel justified in purchasing a almost $300 pen that is just black and gold. I already have black and gold pens. I don't want another one, but I want that pen. So if they were to release a new colorway for the first time in I don't know how many years, I would absolutely jump on it. I would love like gold hardware because I love gold hardware, and like pink. So maybe if they did like a burgundy or a deep forest green, I could get into that. I would really like that. I would buy that immediately. Or if there was like a Visconti Homo sapiens that was a good price that was used, I would get that. Because in talking to people, they'll like show good prices for the market, but that's not a good price for me and my budget. So like if I were to run into someone who had used it, it was a little bit damaged, had some scuffs and scrapes, and they were willing to part with it for a good price, considering all of those damages, use over the years, I would be very into it. And you know, I have a, oh girl, what's going on? Or like any pink pens, any translucent sparkly pink pens. Or if it's a gift, I will never get rid of a gift. I can't do that. I would add those to my collection, but with where I am right now, I do not need, want, or yearn for anything. And I say that because I like gave all of those little previous qualifiers to me not needing any more pens, because I have a pen on the way. It's a Pilot Custom 74, but I bought it off of Pensachi and it's baby pink. Oh my God. I am so excited to try it out. It'll be here in the mail like tomorrow probably, but I was like, oh my gosh, I have really wanted a Pilot Custom 74 and it's pink. Okay. I also want to talk a little bit in this video about a YouTuber that I miss so much, because I've mentioned it earlier, but I like to just have things on in the background. And I do definitely have comfort creators, because if you're like me and you need something in the background, sometimes you don't want to focus on something new because you're just going to get distracted, but you still need the noise. I have certain creators that I put content on like repeat, like I'll put on their playlists just for the noise. And I'll have rewatched their videos 5, 6, 7, 800 times, but I just need something on in the background. And one of those creators to this day is the Pen Habit. The Pen Habit and Matt from the Pen Habit were a very big part of my consumption life for a while. And I totally get why he broke the pen habit. I've watched that video so many times, and I completely understand the overconsumption. I just talked about it, and having a YouTube channel that is predominantly based off of reviews, high-end reviews, and that type of thing, how it would be a little bit over-consuming to your life. And I really hope that Matt is having a wonderful time wherever he is. I miss his content. He had such a great personality, and I don't think that there is an equivalent, or that there ever will be an equivalent within the pen space, or at least anytime soon. He had a level of maturity and playfulness to him, but also like the dry, mundane humor that I really appreciate. It's very special, and so I will rewatch his content regularly. And I went to his channel the other day and I realized that it's been multiple years since he's been off of YouTube. And again, I really wish him well, but oh my gosh, I miss him. And you know, that's kind of weird. I was hearing someone talk about parasocial relationships and how studies have been done to where even within a parasocial relationship, this is relating to Jenna Marbles leaving the internet. If that ends, you still go through like a breakup in your heart as the person consuming the content. I understand it's totally weird, but it's kind of like in The Office. I feel like a lot of us here loved The Office, the TV show. Whenever The Office ended, I did not want it to end. I cried, and that could be just me being overly attached to things, but I have watched and rewatched The Office at least twice a year, and that show has ended like a decade ago. And I still cry every time Michael Scott comes back with all of his phones to show his family. And I just hope that that's the case with Matt from the Pen Habit and with like Jenna Marbles. Loved her. And this is probably just a little bit weird and like, oh my gosh, she is way too invested in these online people. But it becomes part of your life. Or like if you were to read a book and you get very connected to it, one of them that is overarching a lot of people love is the Lord of the Rings series. I feel for Frodo. He was just given this crappy life with this ring that freaking Bilbo just bestowed upon him. Bilbo was like, yo, I'm not strong enough to deal with this, so I'm gonna peace out, good luck. Frodo didn't really ask for that. Like, he asked Bilbo about all of his adventures and he was very invested in that. And he was kind of excited, but then all of this crap started happening. He doesn't get a happy ending. I feel for Frodo. And in these overarching aspects of media, that feeling that I have for Frodo is for Michael Scott, is for a Jenna Marbles, is for the Pen Habit. Whether they're real people or not, in my life, I don't know these people. Like, unless it's the few members of my stationery friends, in which case, if you're watching this, hello, I don't know you. You don't know me. You are just someone, you are my TV show. Like, I don't watch a whole ton of TV unless it is with my partner, just because it requires so much focus to take in television, because there's so many details and everything, and I want to take everything in. That is draining. I would much rather just engage with people on YouTube talking about their lives, talking about their interests, and that's just really cool to me, you know? I don't know where this video is going at this point. I'm kind of just talking. The entire point of me making this video was to kind of catch up, talk about things that I've seen, things that I want, and you know what? Let's get to that want. 2023. I want more people looking at their consumption and truly finding what makes them happy. I want you to Marie Kondo your life, whether it be in just your stationery life or your whole life. I want you to make items work for you and to not be overwhelmed by it. One, because having clutter is extremely frustrating to your brain, whether you acknowledge it or not, but also because the financial strain is there, the overconsumption is there. And that's not to say, like, if you're a true minimalist and you have 2 pens, 1 notebook, and you're cool, and like your kitchen has what you need for the week and maybe a couple canned items for emergencies, you probably got your stuff together. But a lot of us here struggle with trying to get dopamine from things, or like forgetting you have things and buying it again and being like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I want you to focus on bringing things into your life that actually serve you, whether that be things or people. Just wanted to throw that in there. I also want to see more use. I want to see how people use their stuff, or talk about how people use their stuff. I see a lot of just like, I acquired this new item, hey, take a look at it. And there is absolutely value in that, particularly if you're someone that threw it in your cart and you're thinking about it, but you're not quite certain. But I want to see people using their pens. I want to see dinged up pens that you take everywhere with you. I want things to be used and I want to see people using it. This is a threat. I want nostalgia. I do. That is one part of consumption that I don't think that I can entirely get out of, but at least in terms of the feeling, I want nostalgia. I really, really want funky, quirky things back. I want to see things and people using things and putting things together in a way that is entirely them and less of a trend. I have seen so many people posting their page spreads, and I have no idea which of the 10 creators it could possibly be out of the people that I follow alone, because it looks exactly the same. I want creativity. I want uniqueness. I want things to be done for that specific person and catered to that specific person within the system that they use within their journal and their planner that fit them. I do not want to see more copy and paste. I'm just going to do what so-and-so is doing because it looks good and it's working for them, and I'm going to hope it works for me. I want you to sit down and think about your planning world, your journaling world, and see what you actually need. And I'm not going to name specific creators or specific brands, but there's definitely a handful of like brands and styles and aesthetics that look exactly the same to me, and I have no idea who's posting it unless I look at the username, because it just looks exactly the same. And that's not me like crapping on the people that do that, but I really want to encourage those people to take a step back and think of themselves as a unique person and sit down and truly do the work to ask yourself, what do you need? You know, I want this to work for you. Overall, I think I want 2023 to be a renaissance of individuality. Whether that be companies releasing things that they just want to release because they think it's cool, or people making planners their own versus being concerned about what it looks like for Instagram. I had to take a step back from Instagram for a little bit. That's probably why the Languid Kitty account. If you don't follow me, my stationery Instagram is the Languid Kitty, and my personal Instagram is justice.space. I had to take a step back from my stationery posting because I found that I was doing things in a way that didn't feel authentic to myself just because I wanted to post it. Sometimes my spreads are ugly, and sometimes I have to journal about things that I don't want online. And in an Instagram picture, it's not quite so easy to curate that, you know? So I had to take a step back for a little bit, like a year, and try and cultivate that back within myself, because I had found a formula, not even for posting because I don't have a lot of followers, but a formula for what I found to be aesthetically pleasing that I felt comfortable posting. I had to get out of it. It just felt so stale and so stagnant. Oh, back in the creators, I promised that there was only going to be 2 more. There is 1 more. Job's journal. I really like Job. He seems like a fun, bubbly guy, and I would love to be their friend. I'm also recently a member of their Patreon crew, so I am excited for my first postcard. Girl! I just wanted to throw Job Journal in there because I really resonate a lot with his like collector mentality for Traveler's Company. Totally get it. I don't need as many things as I have, but I like simp for that brand, and I know that I simp for that brand, and he does too, dang it. But yeah, this is the end of the video. I am going to say thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your commentary on what I've said, but also what you want from 2023 within the stationery community, because it could be different from me. Maybe you're like, well, no, I want people to continue doing what they're doing, but then drop the price because it's become such a flood in the market. Valid point. I want to know, what do you want? What do you want to do personally? Are you going to Marie Kondo the crap out of your place? Are you still in the new stationery community to where you want to just like find what you're comfortable with? Tell me, girl. And if you are not subscribed, I would love if you subscribed. Thank you so much for listening to this rambly video that I believe is completely pointless, but you know, you're here. Have a good one. Bye-bye.